Panel, what are your thoughts on Elon Musk mandating his workers? Oh, yes, said the workers have to go back to the office. I love this. Has this become a dated concept for companies now?
Yeah, it's. I'm delighted to see that because, I mean, everybody knows offices or workers who, particularly younger ones, who are saying things like, they say to their boss, the working from home thing, it really helps the productivity. And if I do have to come in, could I come in like maybe Tuesdays and Wednesdays? And, like flip the working week so we have a couple of days of work and then 5 days of weekend. I think people are on to that. And look, it is true. There are some jobs that you can do better from home, but a lot of it, people have to get back into the office. People have to stop this pretense that they're scared to go into work for health reasons. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
They're pulling a fast one. There's no reason at this stage that they shouldn't be in the office,
Right.
other than they don't want to be, in which case, do something else.
In a spirited exchange between Bill Maher and Douglas Murray, the conversation turned to Elon Musk's mandate requiring employees to return to the office, sparking a wider debate about the future of work. Murray, in his typically sharp and articulate style, advocated for the importance of in-person work, highlighting its role in driving productivity, innovation, and especially mentorship, crucial for younger employees navigating the early stages of their careers. Maher offered a more nuanced take, agreeing in part by suggesting that many people have taken advantage of remote work under the pretense of health concerns. He humorously criticized the work-from-home culture, pointing out the stark contrast between remote workers enjoying their setups and essential workers who never had that option. The discussion brought to light a deeper cultural divide between those who value the structure of traditional office life and those championing the flexibility of the remote work revolution.
To see people coming back into cities. I mean, we need our cities. 10, 20 years ago, people talked about walkable, livable cities, but we've let our cities deteriorate. This was a progressive idea of livable cities, and now we've allowed them to be turned over to open-air drug scenes, homeless encampments. Cities are the lifeblood of innovation, of civilization. We got to bring them back, and we're ready to.
But, I think we really need to ask ourselves the question. It is entirely possible that people can be more productive at home in certain sectors. In certain sectors.
Yes.
I mean, my law firm, we're doing a lot of work from home, and we've had record-breaking years the last couple of years, not spending nearly as much on travel as we once did. On the other hand, we don't mentor our young lawyers in a way that we did, and that we suffer in that way.
But it does wind up looking elitist, does it not? Because the people who
that's true.
It's like I always thought it was bullshit during the pandemic when they were like, we're all in it together. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Some people are at home in their pajamas getting food delivered to them, and other people are delivering the food. And the jobs that tend to be where you can't stay home. You can't be a plumber from home.
All the time.
No, you got to go to where the sink is.
Or an auto construction worker.
Right.
Elon Musk. You got to have people on the factory floor.
I always noticed that the people who had gardens liked working from home. and like 20-somethings who were paying thousands of dollars a month for a bed sit and were stuck in it tended to want to get back into the office. Fancy that.
The decline of urban environments has raised alarm, as issues like homelessness and open-air drug use undermine the once celebrated vision of cities as dynamic, livable centers of innovation and culture. Once seen as the beating hearts of progress and community, many cities now grapple with challenges that threaten their very identity. In a compelling discussion, Douglas Murray and Michael Schellenberger stressed the urgent need for revitalization, arguing that vibrant physical spaces are essential for nurturing human connection, creativity, and the foundations of civilization itself. Their conversation highlighted the pressing importance of reclaiming urban spaces, ensuring cities remain places where innovation thrives and communities can truly prosper.
What do you make of the Heard versus Depp verdict? Oh, okay, well, you brought this up. Does this trial mark the end of the Me Too era? No. It just marks, I think, a restoration of, sanity. Like sometimes the jury doesn't believe somebody. And by the way, you never know. You never know what goes on in a marriage. You never know what went on between those two people. I don't have 100% assurance because a jury said Johnny Depp is innocent, that he's innocent. I don't know. But that's the best we can do. We're just humans. We try. This is the worst system except for all the others.
The only thing that might suggest it is the end of the Me Too era is, do you remember the beginning of it? In 2017, 2018, clearly there was a correction that needed to happen.
Yes.
There were some powerful men who'd got away with too much and bad things for a long time. And that correction.
But not just powerful men. Those are just the ones we heard about.
Sure.
There was also ones, at the...
But the point is that there was a correction that was needed, and it very swiftly ran past the point of correction. I mean, there's things like shitty media men. There was a list where people just lost their jobs for a crowdsourced Google spreadsheet.
Right.
There were the comic Ansari. He basically got done over for a bad date.
Yes.
So there was a period where we had these completely deranging claims that are typical of our era, where people said things like "believe all women." And really, no. That's as mad as saying, believe all men.
Right.
Why?
It's right, of course.
Believe people, listen to people, listen to their arguments and their experience. Don't just come out with these things. So the thing with the Heard Depp trial is interesting is the jury did hear her contradicting her own evidence on the stand. And as Mr. Holder knows, juries really don't like that. They really don't like it when they can see somebody has lied. And they could see that she'd lied, like she pretended she'd given the $7 million from the divorce to charity, and then it turned out that it was a pledge she'd made. And she said, well, I think a pledge and a donation are the same thing. And you go, no, they're not. And so they didn't like that. So maybe just after this we can remind ourselves, as you say, Bill, like marriages are tricky, people are tricky, it's always more complex than we know, but it's certainly more complex than these fucking hashtags,
The conversation surrounding the #MeToo movement and the Depp Heard trial delves into the broader cultural and social questions about how allegations and justice are handled in today's society. The trial became a lightning rod for debate, raising concerns about whether the #MeToo movement, originally a vital reckoning with systemic abuse, may have overreached in some cases. Douglas Murray criticized slogans like "Believe all women," arguing that such blanket assertions undermine the foundation of impartial justice by assuming guilt based on gender. He stressed that justice must be rooted in evidence and due process, not shaped by public opinion or social media narratives. The trial also revealed the emotional and legal complexity of intimate relationships, especially when testimony conflicts. Amber Heard's inconsistencies, such as her disputed claim about donating her divorce settlement to charity, significantly affected her credibility in the eyes of the jury. Ultimately, the case underscored the critical role of credibility in legal outcomes and the dangers of letting public campaigns obscure careful, fact-based evaluation.
It's more complicated than the hashtags, Bill. It's also understand that for too long, women were not heard.
Sure.
No, of course.
And they need to be heard, and we need to take seriously the claims that they raise, and we should not have a presumption that because it's coming from a woman, it is something that's made up. In the same way that
we all agree on that.
Well, there's a danger sometimes if we think that we've overcorrected, that we, in fact, don't go far enough. So I'm just saying.
Also, here's an idea. If you want to try to completely reformulate or rebrand or reframe sexual etiquette between the sexes, don't base it on Hollywood.
No, that's true.
Don't do it. Don't do it in a very weird industry which actually came up with the term casting couch.
Right.
Where people actually advance for their looks, for their sexual, wiles and much more. Start in some other business.
I would just add, too, I think we've been talking about civilization. One of the differences between civilization and not civilization is you have a system of justice rather than a system of revenge.
Right.
The systems of revenge are endless cycles of violence, and when you break free of that for a justice system, you're much more likely to be able to have that civil peace that we all want to have.
All right, let's go have some right now. Thank you.
Moreover, the panelists, including Eric Holder, emphasized that the #MeToo movement must remain grounded in its original mission, giving a voice to women who were historically silenced. At the same time, they acknowledged the risk of overcorrection, where innocent individuals could suffer unjust consequences. The discussion called for a thoughtful reassessment of how society addresses these complex issues advocating for a justice system that steers away from cycles of revenge and instead builds a more balanced and equitable framework for addressing grievances. This nuanced examination of the Bill Maher trial and the #MeToo movement highlights the ongoing tension between accountability and fairness, underscoring the need for a justice system that is both compassionate and impartial. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more thought-provoking discussions and deep dives into current issues, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. We'll see you in the next video.